Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Marie. Today I'll be starting off a brand new reading vlog. So because it is currently Asian month, I thought I would do a reading vlog focusing on Asian books that have yet to be published. So I have two books over here that are arcs that are coming out in May this month, and I thought it would be a good time for me to do a reading vlog while reading it and just kind of give you my thoughts on them. But before I dive into the two books that I'll be reading, if you're new to this channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below as well as hit the notification bell. But I am super excited to get into these two books, and that is The No Family by Grace K. Shim. And this one is basically about this girl. Something happens where she does some sort of like one of those DNA tests, and she finds out she belongs to a Chaebol family on her father's side, and it turns out that they are rich and they own a famous department store in Seoul. And so when they learned about their genetic connection, they invite her there, and now she's whisked off to Seoul to meet her family that she's never met before, and obviously things kind of happen. So I'm very excited for this one. The other book I have over here is I Guess I Live Here Now by Claire An. This one is out this month as well, and this one is basically about this girl called Melody, where something happens. She's some sort of transgression, not entirely sure, but apparently it's so bad that her family decided to move her to Seoul immediately. So she doesn't have a chance to say goodbye to her best friend, and she's whisked off from New York to Seoul. And now she finds herself settling into their super luxe home, meeting cool friends, cute boy to hang out with, etc. And cracks start to show. So these are the two books that I am aiming to read for this video. I am planning to do this for like a week long though, so on the off chance that I manage to finish both of these really early on, I do have two older arcs that I potentially might be picking up, and that is these two books. So I have Somewhere Only We Know by Maureen Gu. This was out back in 2019. This is a book that's been on my radar for a really long time now, so I thought this would be a good time for me to read this. It's basically about this girl called Lucky, who is the biggest K-pop star in the scene, and one day she's just in her fancy hotel craving a hamburger, and I guess she decides to go out for this hamburger, and she runs into this guy called Jack, who is sneaking into this hotel for a tabloid job that he keeps secret from his parents, and they run into each other and things will never be the same. This sounds super freaking cute. I'm here for this vibe. The other one over here is Sister of the Bollywood Bride by Nandini Bajpaj. I believe I pronounced it incorrectly. But this book is basically kind of like Morgan Matten's Save the Date, about one teen summer tackling disasters including but not limited to family, romance, and weather as she plans her sister's Bollywood style Indian dance. So both of these are really cute. I mean, these are all like rom-com type books, and honestly I'm so here for them. So I am excited and definitely cannot wait to start these ASAP, and I'll let you guys know how things fare. But these are essentially my reading plan, specifically these two, and if I somehow manage to finish these two, I will read these two. But these are my main focus, and I cannot wait to get started as soon as possible. Alright, so just a quick update on this book over here, which is The No Family. I am now on page 176. I'm halfway through. I'm really enjoying this book. It is super entertaining. It reads exactly like a K-drama. There are so many K-drama references in this book, especially for Lee Min-ho. Like all his dramas that he starred in before, they're listed and mentioned many times, and I am a stan for Lee Min-ho, so like I'm here for it. But it's just really funny just to see like how her story right now is just so mirrored with the K-dramas that she and her best friend are obsessed with. So like I mentioned already, this book basically follows a girl who finds out that she has existing family living in Seoul due to a DNA test that she kind of took for fun, and so now her family whisk her off to Seoul to meet them for the first time, and it turns out that her family is Chaebol, which means that they're extremely wealthy. They are the top 1% of Korea Korea, of the world. They own a giant conglomerate department store in Seoul, and they're just filthy rich. And so now she's just there, and there's just so many customs that she's not used to, even though she grew up Korean, but her mother never really taught her a lot in terms of her culture. So she is just going into this completely blind. All she really knows is from K-drama actually, and from the once a year Korean food that her mother will make in memory of her father. So she doesn't really know a lot. She's learning so much, lots of culture shock, lots of just expectations that are thrust upon her just because of the fact that she is family in this really uber rich family. And it's just really fascinating. I'm really enjoying it. The writing is very much like, I wouldn't say it's a, you know, intense writing or anything like that. It's a very typical YA contemporary romance where it's just fun, it's lighthearted, it's definitely not meant to be very serious. I'm really curious to what happened between her mom and her dad and what kind of led her side of the family to be estranged from, you know, this uber rich family. Because I feel like even though Halmoni, which is the grandmother, is very nice and everything to her, I feel like there's something underlying there, and I'm really curious to see like what's going on and if this will really follow along K-drama. Because if that's the case, I kind of already picture this whole like, you know, not accepting the mom and the mom running away and the dad running away with her, and so they're out there in America kind of situation going on. So anyway, that's all I can really say for this update. It's fun, it's entertaining, but yeah, I'm also picked up the Bollywood book. I'm listening on audiobooks. I actually finished all the audiobooks, so I figured I might as well just listen to that on the side. I'm really enjoying it. I just started today. I think I'm like 10-15% way through. Not much to say, to be honest, but it's about this girl who is, you know, planning a wedding for her sister, and there's just so much stuff going on right now with the fact that she is just tight on money, like her family's tight on money for this budget, for this wedding, and just a lot of chaos that's ensuing right now. There's also this guy who's involved. Obviously gonna be some sort of romance there. I'm definitely curious to see how everything will play out, but yeah, that's what I'm really say for now, and I will check back in later. So I'm back with an update finally, the book I actually finished, and that is The No Family by Grace K. Shim. I actually really enjoyed this book. I would give this book 4 stars, maybe 3.5 actually. This book was definitely a fun read. It was very much like K-dramas. Like if you have watched K-dramas, there are so many moments in K-dramas that were reflected in this book, and I really enjoy that. My issue, I guess, well, not really an issue per se, is that I wasn't so sure about the family aspect of it, but at the same time it's also again very much reflected on K-dramas where chaebols have their own lifestyle, they have their own agenda, they have their own like privileges that they have to go with, and the fact that there is the public eye and then there's the private eye, and how what they do is reflected on their entire family. And there's so many times throughout this book that I felt like Chloe was just so naive and innocent, I guess, with just how things worked in Korea, especially with a chaebol family like hers, and how there were just so many times when she expected things to go a certain way, or she expected them to act a certain way, and things did not happen the way how she expected, purely because she was thinking more of like a normal person, whereas for them they were thinking more of a chaebol perspective. So their perspective just did not align at all. Not only that, but there was this whole like email exchange or like text exchange that was happening between her and her cousin, and I felt like the truth behind that was so obvious from like halfway through the book that I was surprised that it took her so long. Like basically she didn't realize until the very end of the book. So I was like, how did you not like know this like the first time you saw him? Like I don't know, like I feel like there were already like clues throughout the book that things were not, you know, as they seemed. And then there's a whole like liver thing that was happening too that I just thought like completely threw a wrench in the entire like storyline, that I don't know, like I was not on board with it. I felt like the way how the No family were doing it too just felt very shady, and I don't know, I just, end of the day, like the way how they think is just so different from I guess a normal person, and it was very heavily reflected on this book. I still enjoyed it. I thought like the messages were good. I like the whole like family aspect to it with her and her mom and her friends, not necessarily with the rest of the No family. And then the ending was very like open-ended. I feel like there could potentially be a second book, or I wish kind of that there was just an extra like few chapters really to kind of explain it, because it just cut things off like super abruptly. And I don't know, I just felt like the pacing also was very slow for most of the book until the last quarter, when things just happened in like warp speed. So I would say like the pacing's a little off, and I wasn't a huge fan of the No family and like how they acted on certain things, and the ending was just a little bit like abrupt as well. So that's why I think this book is more like a 3.5 stars. Like I still enjoyed it overall. It's a fun read. I had a good time reading it. It was a fast read as well. But yeah, that's all I can say for this book. In terms of my other update, I am still listening to The Sister of the Bollywood Bride. For this book, I'm about 67% of the way through, so I've definitely made some progress. It's also a very thin book, so I'm kind of surprised that I have not made as much progress as I thought I was going to make, but it's fun so far. It's very chaotic. I feel like there's just so much stuff about culture like that I was not aware of either. So right now it's been a really fun time just exploring all of that about like Indian weddings and kind of like the different like cultures, and how there's so many different like requirements, I guess, or you know how like American weddings usually have like a bachelorette. Indian weddings, depending on like which region you're from, there is like some of them are like this is a must-have, some places are like no, this is optional, and just all the various differences. I thought that's super fascinating to read about. So yeah, overall I'm really enjoying it. I think I should have this done by not today but by tomorrow, really, just because it's a fast read. And the last update I have for you guys is this book over here, which I'm going to be reading. And now that I finished The No Family, this one is about a girl who, I guess like something happens and she's now transported to Seoul because of something that she did, like a transgression, and now she's just like, you know, chilling life in Korea. She realized it's not as bad as she thought it was gonna be, and then like cracks begin to form on its glittering surface. So I'm super curious by what exactly that means. And it says that there's gonna be a sweet new romance perhaps, which I feel like is a given. But yeah, I'm excited for this book, and I will read this now and let you guys know how it goes. Okay, so it's been like, I am so sorry guys, it's been such a long time since I have last updated you guys. It is now Tuesday night, and I think it's technically been a week, but I'm going to continue on this vlog for one more day, mainly because I'm almost done with the last book that I'm reading for this video. And honestly, the past few days has been just, I don't know, like very busy first of all, and I don't know what the fuck I did on Friday or like Thursday night, but I like screwed up my stomach. Like I ate something that was not great, and like I feel like it's been fine for the most part, but then there'll be like certain times when I just feels like I feel like very nauseous. So it's been not the greatest time so far. Like my stomach, it's so weird. Like I haven't had this happen to me like ever, because my stomach for the most part is like really good. If I feel nauseous or whatever, it usually just goes away like within a few hours. I've never had it last for so long, so I'm literally just like, what the heck is this? I don't really want to eat like spicy food because I don't like want to fuck it up even more. I don't want to eat like super greasy food either because I don't know if that gets worse, and I just eat a lot of congee. So thank god I had a bunch of like congee packs in my apartment, so I just been eating on that. And I think I need to go buy some congee tomorrow just because I want to just continue on this like very like not intense food. But anyways, point is, I'm getting out of hand. I do have updates for you guys because I have finished one book, and that is Somewhere Only We Know by Maureen Gu. I listened to an audiobook and I just finished it today. It's really freaking cute. It's basically about this girl, her name is Lucky, who is a K-pop star, and she is just, you know, living her life as a K-pop star as one does. And she, one day she's in Hong Kong, she finished one of her tours, and she is just overwhelmed. She feels like things have changed since when she has started K-pop, and things are very different now. She doesn't feel as like like that she's really connected with her songs, her music, her fans as much as she did before. And one night she decides to, you know, leave and get a hamburger. Like she's just starving, she wants to just have a few hours for herself. And she also unfortunately had taken some sleeping meds and some anxiety meds, and because of that she was very tired. Like she was like passing out in random places, people thought she was drunk, and because of that she ends up meeting a guy called Jack. And Jack, when they first meet, elevator, and he bumps into her, doesn't really think much about her except that she looks very drunk, very like, you know, trash, etc. And he doesn't even recognize her until later he realizes that it's actually Lucky. But the thing is, Jack is a paparazzi, like tabloid photographer. He goes around and sneaks after like A-list celebrities, take pictures of them, and you know, it causes scandals. And so he basically spies an opportunity to utilize Lucky as a way to, you know, gain him in a position. So long and behold, two of them end up hanging out, and she has no idea that he is, you know, a paparazzi tabloid photographer. And basically they spend the entire next day together due to circumstances, and just, you know, things happen from there. That's the gist of it. It's super adorable. I feel like I really liked how they learned to, you know, trust each other, and like how their relationship changed. Obviously there's romance in here, and especially like Jack's part, because he went into it with a whole like ulterior motive and like horrible intentions, but as he gets to know her, as he starts to like understand like where she's coming from and like what she's had to face, because, you know, to the average eye, like she lives a very glamorous life, and he realizes that, you know, that's not necessarily the case, and she is still struggling other things on her own. Whereas for Lucky, she is just, you know, feeling overwhelmed. I love the discussion about how being a K-pop idol has taken a toll on her passion, and how it has changed the way how she acts and just in general. And I really liked her progression as a character when she learned to kind of like take it back and really reclaim her passion as a singer as well as a music lover. So anyways, really enjoyed this book. Super cute. I'd probably give it 4 stars. I also like the ending as well. So anyways, happy I read this book. Then the other book that I am picking up and I'm almost done with is I Guess I Live Here Now by Claire An. This one I am on page 310, so I don't have a lot of ways to go, but I'm really enjoying this book. I feel like this book is way more fascinating than I expected. It's about this girl who ends up doing this like a small transgression, which ends up just being weed, which is like literally revealed in the first like 10 pages. Not even, like the first like 2 pages really. And basically her parents decide to like send her back to Korea to live with her father, and just get kind of closer with her dad. And so her and her mom ends up uprooting themselves from New York, heads to Korea, and now she is forced to be in Korea with brand new school, different lifestyle completely, brand new friends. And at first she was very much against it, but as she, you know, starts to live there a bit longer, she realizes that this life is actually pretty nice. Like she has some really great friends. She lives a very glamorous life actually. Her father's side is actually very wealthy, and she's starting to really enjoy it. Not to mention she also has her interior design passion that she's trying to get into, and I really enjoyed this book. I feel like this book had a lot of dynamics between what it's like to live as a Korean American living in America, what it's like to live as a Korean American living in Korea, what it's like to live as like a Korean native in Korea, as well as a lot of family dynamics between like familial expectations, like cultural expectations, and just her identity of like fitting in as a Korean in Korea, even though she's never lived there before, and kind of like the society expectations of her. I thought there's a lot of great discussions going on. I'm really enjoying it so far. There's also this really cute romance in here that as soon as he was introduced, I was like, I think something's going to happen between her and him, and long and behold, I am correct. And I'm really hoping that like things will continue. I feel like right now there's a bit of like a misunderstanding-ish going on, but obviously like as the book continues, like things will repair itself and there will be romance more. So anyways, really enjoying this book for sure. The one thing I'm really curious about is where it says like cracks begin to form on a glittering surface. I'm really curious as to what those cracks are, because I feel like there are some cracks, but they're kind of just like expectations of a different generation for her, and just the fact that she's trying to be independent, she has her own passions. And I don't know, as an Asian person, like sometimes your parents and your grandparents expect a different life for you just because of what they've gone through themselves, and they just want the best for you, but that's not necessarily like, obviously you want the best for yourself too, but what they think is the best for you might not be the same as what you think is the best for yourself. herself. And I don't know if that's the cracks this author is referring to in the synopsis. If that's the case, I'm like, I feel like that's everyone really, or like at least, I don't know, like as an Asian person, I feel like, I don't know, I just thought it'd be like something sinister. Like for some reason, I don't know why, I just got the impression that something like creepy is going on, or like sinister, or something like darker really. But yeah, I guess I'll like find out as I continue reading. But as of right now, that's kind of the only like implication of cracks along the glittering surface that I am thinking about. But anyway, that's to say for this quick update. I will continue reading and hopefully I will finish it by tonight. If not tonight, then tomorrow at the very latest. But I am going out for dinner soon, so gotta get ready. And alright, so I am actually going to just finish off a little vlog here because it's been a while. It is now Wednesday morning and I actually have a shit ton of things to do, so I'm going to like finish it, wrap things up very quickly, get this video up and going hopefully tomorrow. Actually, we'll see how that goes. If not tomorrow, I'm just gonna have to push my schedule back a little bit, but it's fine. But I just have so much things I need to get done for work, so I just want to like get through this very quickly. But let's kind of wrap things up in terms of all the books I have read for this video and like my final thoughts. So last book that I just finished is I Guess I Live Here Now by Claire Ahn. I'm gonna give this book 4 stars. It was really good. I like the cultural identities that this author discussed in this book and the character growth that Melody went throughout the entire book from the beginning to the end. I love the friendships that were portrayed, the romances, the family dynamics, and the expectations. I thought the author did a great job. Maybe not 4 stars, maybe like 4.5 stars. I think this book just had a lot going for it for sure. I also really like the ending when things kind of, you know, like I just feel like communication honestly is so key to anything, whether it is to your friends, to your parents, to your, you know, significant other, whatever it is, communication is prime. So I feel like I loved how at the end of this book there were just so many communication that was going on. A lot of misunderstandings were coming to light and they were being fixed because they were communicating, and I really enjoyed just how everything wrapped itself up. The one thing that I do wish was kind of touched upon a little bit more was her relationship with her grandparents, specifically on her dad's side, because I felt like it was touched upon a few times but it was never really resolved. And I think that's why I don't think this book is 5 stars, because I feel like I just do think that part was just missing with how the book ended. But overall, really good read. The other book I picked up is Somewhere Only We Know by Maureen Goop. This book I am going to give 4 stars as well. It was really good, it was sweet, it was cute. I also liked the relationship and the romances that was described here. The other book I read is The No Family by Grace K. Shim. I don't remember what I gave this book, but I want to say 3.5 stars. I do think that the friendships in this book, or at least her friendship with her friends from home before she went to Korea, was a lot stronger compared to the friendship in this book, because they both are very similar in the sense that both of them got transported to Seoul and kind of like their lives there. This one obviously was more short term, this one is more long term, but either way though, I feel like the idea of leaving your friends back home can change, you know, a lot of different things. Like their relationship can change, and I feel like this friendship was a lot stronger compared to this one, but it also made sense because she was going there long term. But either way though, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a great read as well. Then the final book that I finished for this video is Sister of the Bollywood Bride. This book I believe I gave 3 stars. It was an okay read. I do like all the chaos that while they were trying to like, you know, have this Bollywood Indian wedding, I thought that was super fun and entertaining. But overall, that's all I can really say for this book. So anyways, these are the 4 books that I read for this video. Have you read any of these books before? I believe this book is still not out yet. I think it comes out next week by the time I'm filming this, so definitely check this one out when it comes out. But if you have read any of these books, let me know down in the comments below. But as always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. It really does help out my channel, and if you'd like to see more content of me, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as hit the notification bell. But as always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!